getting back to the kids and their age, have you ever thought in your parenting life, what am I doing covering the Boston Celtics, whatever, when I maybe should be at home?
Oh, of course. I try not to miss the big things, but the Hall of Fame weekend, for instance, the Pro Football Hall of Fame weekend, is always on the weekend of my wife's birthday and my oldest son's birthday. And I miss it every single year. And as much as I am very fortunate to do what I do for a living, you stare out at I-77, in beautiful Canton, Ohio, and you're like, I should be home. Of course. But you're doing what you're doing for a living to provide best you can. Also provide an example of a work ethic for your kids that I think will definitely be noticed. I'm not on the road as much anymore, which is great. I'm a fort holder during the NFL season and doing my show every day. I'm in LA as much as I've ever been, and I do love that. But yeah, I do worry about that from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, I often talk to people who have full-blown careers, particularly fathers. Not that mothers don't, but just I'm around a lot of fathers, whether it be golfing or whatnot, and how they kind of deal with the rigors of work and equally providing the attention that the kids deserve at home.
Yes,
and I'm sitting here thinking sometimes, I'm going to be playing in Funner, California tonight, but why?
Right. Right. And at some point you will make that part of your career that, you have reached a certain point where, do the gigs here in LA, Vegas, whatever, where you can pop back and forth or whatever. But I'm sure you do love being in these spots.
No, I do.
And doing your thing for people who love you and consume your craft, and you're going to them, which I think is an incredible connection that you can make with a fan. That's kind of why I like to do my radio show every day, is I give out a phone number. You want to call and talk to me? Let's do it. And it's a connectivity I love, and I do miss the live give and take. I've done some live versions of my show at Super Bowls with a live audience. I just love it. I love getting out there and warming up the crowd. I just love that sort of aspect of it. But at some point, you'll have to make a choice. Like, maybe you cut back here or cut back there. But it's funny. One of my poker buddies told me, when I had my first kid, you're going to love it, but they screw it all up. I'm like, what do you mean they screw it all up? That sort of thing. When you're on the road, and they... God bless them. They're awesome. You want to be there for them. Are you missing anything? Are you putting pressure on your spouse by not being there? That she's handling it. And then comes this aspect that I've noticed in the very rare times that I'm home alone. That's happened to me this summer when my kids were out and my wife was out east, in between the two camp visiting days, doing some things out there with our third son who had an intermission in his camp. Don't get me started. But at any rate, so she was out and I'm home alone. And I'm in a quiet house. And the first night, it was one of the most glorious things of all time, where I'm on my own schedule. And then I get to do things like leave a fork in the sink by itself.
All night.
I take a glass, I fill it up, I drink, I take it whatever room I want. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there overnight, and I will do that. And I'm thinking to myself, then I think to myself, like, this is fast and loose. Like, what the hell has happened to me in my world? And then it's now time to eat, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? I always plan eating around when the kids are eating.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so it's up to me to decide when I eat and what I want to eat. Like, what's happened to me? What in the world is occurring in my life where suddenly after a day of this freedom, I'm like, it's too quiet.
Yeah.
Like, where are the kids? Like, my universe is totally off.
No, it gets boring. This literally just happened. Same thing. One was at Sleepaway, and my wife was with the other one back east, and I had 1 week. Yeah. And the first day I'm driving home from work, I'm like, oh, it's 6 o'clock. I feel like sushi. I stopped at a sushi restaurant, sat at the bar by myself.
Oh, my God.
And then I said, I'm going to go see a movie. Nobody wants to see the new Indiana Jones. I'll just go. I sat in Indiana Jones by myself. I think it was the only one in the theater. And then by the second day, I'm like,
loser.
All right, now I got nothing. I got nothing.
I was going to say creep. You said loser. That's okay.
The opinions expressed in this program are not intended as professional medical advice, as a diagnosis, as a treatment protocol, or as a substitute for professional medical advice from your physician. Please consider your own medical history and consult with your own physician for your specific healthcare and/or medical needs and about your concerns for yourself and your family.